Hi, today's lesson is kind of a doozy. It's mean absolute deviation. Our standard is 6SP5. We're going to find and interpret the mean absolute deviation. What that means is that I can find the mean absolute deviation and then use it as a measure of the average. We're talking today about the distance data the mean is between the data points. So get that down. And then you have something to fill out on the second slide as well. The mean absolute deviation of a set of data, and you're writing this part in red, is the average distance between each data value and the mean. So we're going to find the mean, and then we've got a lot of subtraction to do, and then we're going to find the mean of the distance as well. When we're done, that number is going to describe the variation of all the data around the mean, or the average. All right, so our step one, we're going to find the mean. And then we're going to find the absolute value of the differences between each value in the data and the mean. And then we're going to add those differences up and find the second mean of those differences. And I know it doesn't make much sense right now, but it surely will right now with example 1. So here we go. The table at the right shows the maximum speeds of 8 roller coasters. Find the mean absolute deviation of the set of data. So we're going to need to put the data in order. So we've got 40 and 48, 58, 60, and then we've got 66, 72, 80, and 88. So I've kind of got it done for us as we make our way. Sorry, something's not right up there. So here are all of our data in order from 40 to 88. Yes, I have 8, and there's 8 over here. We're going to find the average. So we're going to add them up on our calculator. 40 plus 48 plus 58 plus 60 plus 66 plus 72 plus 80 plus 88. And it's going to give us an average of 512, which divided by 8 is going to give us a mean of 64. Now, at this point, we're going to take 64 and find the difference between 64 and 40, which is 14, and 64 and 48, which is 16, and 64 minus 58, we're finding the differences, so that's 6, and 64 minus 60, which is 4. Now the absolute value part means is that now that the numbers are increasing, we've got to make sure that we are finding positive differences. So 64 minus, or 66 minus 64 is 2, so no negative numbers here. 72 minus 64 would be 8. 80 minus 64 would give us 16. And 88 minus 64 would give us 24. Now, our next step, we're going to add up, let's use green. We're going to add up all these blue numbers, the differences. 14 plus 16 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 8 plus 16 plus 24. That gives us 104. And now we're going to divide that by 8 to get us a 13. So the MAD, or the mean absolute deviation, the mean is 13 away from each data point. So the data points are spread out, so the MAD is 13. All right, we're going to keep talking about what that means in just a little bit. All right, let's do another example since that was a little confusing. We're going back to putting them in order. The table at the right shows the speeds of 10 birds. Find the mean absolute deviation of the data, round to the nearest hundredth, and then describe what it means. So in order, we've got 10 this time, so we got to make sure that we have stacks of groups of 5 so I can, oopsies, write it down. We're having troubles. Okay, 65, 65, 68, 70, 72, and then 77, 80, 88, 95, and 106. So those are our data points in order. We are now going to need to add them up and find the mean. So our mean was 786 divided by 10 on my calculator, which gave me a mean of 78.6. I'm now using that mean, and I'm going to subtract it from each one of my data points over here. So 78.6 minus 65 gave me 13.6. 78.6 minus 65 is the same thing. 78.6 minus 68 gave me 10.6. This is 8.6. 78.6 minus 72 was 6.6. And then we put it on top when the numbers are now smaller because it's the absolute value. So this ends up as 1.6. Whoopsies. Got to put it down here. What are we doing here? 1.4. 78.6 goes down here. And it's 9.4. It's 16.4 with 95 and 27.4 with 106. So I'm now going to add up all these red numbers. These are the differences away from the mean. I'm going to add them up, which total 109.2. And I'm going to divide that by 10, and that gives me 10.92. So the average distance, because it says describe what the mean absolute deviation represents. So in this problem, the average distance each data value from the mean is 9.2 miles per hour. So the average distance from the mean is 10.92 miles per hour. All right. The last example in your book talks about you can compare the mean absolute deviation for two data sets. One data set with the smaller mean absolute deviation has data values that are closer to the mean. So the smaller the MAD, the closer to the mean the data points are. The data set with the larger mean absolute deviation are more spread apart from the mean. So smaller is closer to the average, larger is more spread out or farther away from the average. So this example, we still have 10 points, but we're now looking at the running time for movies. We're going to have a comedy section and a drama section. So for the comedy section, sorry, I got data worked all out. We've got the 88 minutes, and then we've got 90, 95, 98, and 100. So when I add all that up, I got a mean of 471 minutes divided by 5, which was 94.2. Okay, so I'm now going to take the 94.2 and subtract the 88, which was 6.2, and the 94.2 minus the 90, which is 4.2. And I got 0.8 here minus the 94.2, which gives me 3.8 here, and the 100 minus the 94.2, which gave us the 5.8 there. And when I add all these up, I get 20.8, which is pretty low. So I know when I divide that by 5, I get 4.16, which is really close to the mean because it's in single digits. So we're off to a good start with comedy. Let's see how drama can do. So my drama, those numbers in order were 115 minutes, and then 120 minutes, 135 minutes, 144 minutes, and 150 minutes. So that average, 115 plus 120 plus 135 plus 144 plus 150 was 664. Divided by 5 gave us 132.8 as our mean. So we have to take 132.8 minus 115. I got a difference of 17.8. 132.8 minus 120 gives us 12.8. 135 minus 132 gave me 2.2. 144 minus 132.8 was 11.2. 150 minus 132.8 gave me 17.2. When I added up all 5 of those numbers, I got 61.2 divided by 5 gave me a mean absolute deviation of 1224. So the sentences that I would write comparing those variations is I would say the comedy had the closer MAD because it had the smaller number. So the comedy had the closer MAD because it was at 4.16, while the drama had the farther away MAD with 12.24. So the comedy was closer to the average than the drama. And that's what I would say in my sentences when I was comparing their variation. This example 4 is your you try problem. We will go over that to start class tomorrow. So remember your steps. If you need your packet, go ahead and look at it. But you got Allie's team to do and Lena's team to do. And make sure you're writing it all down. Maybe even want to use colors. I try to have everything ready to go, but I gotta go. See ya.